Feet parallel, outside of the feet. Big toe reaching slightly inward. Center line coming up from the ground. Right, that's what we covered in the last sequence. We're going to start to loosen up the hip joint. Find the crease and reach behind and find your sitting bone or any bony structure that you can locate there. Start to use your hands to rotate your knee inward. So the heel will pivot out, the knee will rotate in. Relax your lower back. And don't use force, just do what's easy. A lot of folks are very tight in this hip internal rotation movement. Stop and notice the difference. Shift your weight onto the leg. See how is it to balance. You could certainly practice this again and check your balance before you do this and see how's your balance after you do some of these simple movements. And in most cases, you'll probably feel there's some improvement. The hips have a lot of balance receptors called proprioceptors that help the central nervous system with balance. Just do what's easy. Switch to your other side if you haven't already. You don't have to do 1,000,000 repetitions to create a difference. 3, 4, maybe 6 done with awareness is usually sufficient. Stand again. Feel the difference. Notice how it feels to stand on that side. How is it to lift one leg? Step out fairly wide. Sink your hips back. Elbows, arms are open. Arms, hands resting gently on the thigh, not leaning into yourself. Very relaxed. Check that you're loose. Starting from the center of your feet, begin to turn so that you create a spiral through your frame, coming up through your back. Just doing what's easy. Restraining yourself from going into that sense of having a stretch. Even though stretching feels good, it isn't always the best thing to do for yourself. It's equally important to learn how to move without straining. Again, we don't want to do 1,000,000 of these things, but as I'm turning, you can see that every part of the body is moving. In particular, now notice your hip joints. So you turn, and you can feel there's a rotation and a lengthening and shortening of one side of the leg. All right, so the hip rotates. If you pay attention to the pelvic floor, the space between your sitting bones, you also notice that there's movement in that space as well. Come back to your standing posture, outside of your feet, parallel. Draw the energy up the ground, through the body, through the center, up in front of your spine. Reach the crown towards the sky. Hold the ball. Notice what you notice. The focus of the eyes is on the horizon, with the awareness that you can see around yourself in space as you're also gazing inward.